Hey, what's going on, guys? Nick Rizzo here, high performance business and life coach of strivenlife.com. And what we're trying to talk to you today about is a way to increase efficiency, productivity, and decrease you making mistakes or lapses in judgment or forgetting to do something just through making a simple system sheet. All right. I'm not talking about systems and like using tools and stuff. This is just basic, as simple as possible. And sometimes, you got to keep it simple. It makes things a little bit easier to deal with and less heavy to kind of go through and work through. So, sorry, dying. So, for example, when it comes to creating content, right? Creating content and not just making that one piece of content, but doing everything that revolves around that piece of content, from making the thumbnail images to repurposing it across social media to repurposing it into a video or an audio and putting that into different mediums to get other eyes to see it. There is tons and tons of steps in that process. And for sometimes it just makes it so much easier if we say, okay, every time I go to do X, Y, or Z, there's all these steps about it that involve doing that one overarching task. Now, it makes it a lot easier. It gives you a lot more clarity and direction for the day that which you're doing that task or that overarching assignment for yourself. If you take the time to make that system and lay out the steps. So I'm talking old school. I'm talking paper here, okay? We're talking paper. So all I did with this, and this is just one of the couple of different systems I have printed out for myself, and I keep them all on my desk. So that way when I know, on Mondays and Tuesdays, when I do this, I know I just have to look at it and follow it like a checklist, right? It guides me through the day to make sure I don't make any mistakes. I know exactly what I have to focus on right now. And when that is kind of all when you wipe away kind of all the little overwhelm of this one overarching task, and you know exactly what you need to work on right now, and you don't have to worry about what comes next because that you can't do that until you finish this, you start to get more productive because I focus on this one thing. And when I finish this one thing, I look over to this paper over here and it says, do this. And it's just that simple, right? So for my entire content repurposing system, when I was doing the Striven Entrepreneur and the Striven You shows, right, it was 11 steps, right? So this is something I would do every Monday and Tuesday all day long. But it allowed me to be super productive, maximize the impact of my content, repurpose it as much as possible. And it would start from just essentially saying, what is the content upgrade I'm going to make for this piece of content that I'm making? Write that blog post the morning of the show. So I'd wake up 8 a.m. and get to writing. Create modified versions for it, if it's possible, onto Medium. And also repurpose it across social media and specific Facebook groups that, I engage a lot in. And, sometimes I know a specific post is really good for a specific audience. So I share bits and pieces of that with them. Identify pieces of the content that I can put as something I can use into my social media automation softwares that I use. Create the thumbnail for the show, for the Facebook Live show, for YouTube, and the blog post. Do the Facebook Live show. Use Repurpose.io, which is a software I use to repurpose all of my content. And I would rip the audio. I would upload the Facebook Live to my site, to the blog post draft. And I would use Simple Social Press as well, another software I use for automation. Insert my blog post into the draft where that Facebook Live video was just uploaded into, publish that post onto the site, and publish the modified version to Medium, and then finish creating and inserting the downloadable content. So there's a ton of different things happening there, right? But when you lay it out as just a simple process to follow through, and I just did 1, 2, 3, 4, it just makes it so much easier to move forward through that day being effective, being productive, not feeling overwhelmed, and being able to just come in, start the day, and execute the hell out of the plan that you have for that day, and to maximize the impact those efforts you're taking are having for your business, for the growth, and to start building that momentum. Because when you get this productive, when you get this efficient, and as many things as possible, you start to see the results from it. All right. So below in the comments, if you have watched this, I would love to know, is there any systems you have for yourself that you do? Do you use a simple process like this, a tool like paper? Are you using other software tools for you? What works best for you? I'd love to know. So post down below in the comments, and I look forward to hearing from you. This has been Nick Rizzo, and I'll be back tomorrow for Striven Daily.